everyone, I hope you are all well. I'm sure most of you know, and if you don't, shame, because you need to turn on the news, turn on social media, do something. But the murder of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter protests have been going on lately, and it has really opened my eyes to not my ignorance, because I was always aware of the racism and I've always stood with the Black Lives Matter community, and just this whole situation has made me realize how ignorant I can be sometimes about what I'm buying, what I'm using, and just how I live my life. Being a white privileged person means that I don't have to think about a lot of the things going on lately. I'm not forced into situations where I have to think about racism because I'm not experiencing it. It's the type of issue that is easy to ignore because it's not happening to us, and I'm putting myself in a position where I know I'm going to mess up and I know that I'm going to say things wrong, but I realize I have a lot of learning to do. I want to educate myself on my privilege, on what I can do, and just generally just educate myself so I can better understand, because I don't want to be in a position anymore where I feel like I don't know what to say, because I want to stand with those who are struggling. I want to be an ally, and I want to help amplify their voices, and if I'm not completely educated, it's going to be hard for me to do that. Now, that's not saying if you aren't educated, you shouldn't be standing up or you shouldn't be taking action, because if you are passionate about what is happening, you should be speaking up, and that involves knowing that you might mess up and knowing that you're going to say something wrong, but being okay with it because you want to learn and you want to better yourself. I don't think not knowing what to say is an excuse not to take action. I apologize if anything I said then just kind of came off the wrong way. I would love to start a conversation in the comments and let me know if there's anything I said that's incorrect or impolite, because I truly do want to learn. What this video is about is not about ways you can recognize your privilege or you can learn about what is going on. This video is more so about books that are either centered around characters that are not white, are not straight, or just some books that do highlight their struggles. I'm just putting it out there that not every book in here is focused on the struggles of Black people. It is just about those kind of people, because it is important to educate yourself on the struggles, but it is also equally important to support Black authors, to just read about people that aren't like you. So this is more focused on not for fun books, but just more of a celebration of culture. I'm also going to be putting on all my skincare and a little bit of makeup, but that's not what this video is about. I don't want to talk about this book that long because everyone has known and read this book. It's To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I'm pretty sure Harper Lee is white. This has a Black character in it. The family is white, and I think it is a good introductory if you have read no books about racism in the country, or like how racism used to be, not modern day racism, or no Black characters. This is a good entry-level book, and it is a good book, but this is not the book I want to focus on today. So the first book I'm going to talk about is one that I read in class. I took a class called Race and Religion in Popular U.S. Fiction, but centered on women. So two of the books, or actually three of these books, are actually from that class. So they are centered around women, and they have elements of religion, and they have elements of... This first book is A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. I am so sorry. It's actually written like a play, and it is a very short book. You can easily get through this, but this book really brings out the struggles that Black families have in America. This was written in 1959. This is when the play came out, so it's centered around that time. Each character is kind of battling with their own thing. So the dad with money, the grandmother with God, the sister, her thing that we talked about in the class is her and her ideas. She has grand ideas about what the world should be, about who she wants to be, and she falls in love and is going to marry a man from Africa, and he's going to go home to be a doctor in Africa. So she struggles with what she kind of wants to be. So she goes back and forth between claiming Africa as her roots and coming home and singing songs, doing dances, and dressing in traditional African dress wear, when really the grandmother doesn't like this, but they all kind of struggle with their own thing and finding their place in America, because they don't Black people don't really at this time have a place in America besides just being workers. So they all struggle with that, and I think it is a great book to put in perspective what kind of mindset they have going in, as well as how they're treated by other people, because there are encounters with white people that really open your eyes as to like what is going on. Just to give you guys a little bit of insight, they try to buy a house in a white neighborhood, and it really goes through the struggles with them, who is against it and who is for it and why, and it really has to go down to the race. So this is a really quick book, but it is really good if you dive into it, and it's actually like one of the first plays that talks about the issues of Black people, not the issues of Black people, but the issues that Black people face in America, and I highly recommend. Another book, I'm sure you've all heard of this. If you haven't, you should definitely go read it or watch the movie. It's The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This is a really interesting book. It deals with the main character and her struggle to find who she is and what she believes in. She's a Black woman, and I believe she ends up marrying a Black man after her dad like abused her, and she gets sold off, and she really struggles in the Black household on how Black women are treated, and it is really sad to see, but there are other main characters who really helps her find who she is, stand up for herself, and discover what she believes in, all that kind of stuff. And then she has a sister, I don't remember her name, but she is a missionary and she's going to Africa, and she really gets her eyes open to how Black people are actually treated. She's on a church missionary, and I just think their stories are so interesting, and the main character, it is so sad to see, but her development throughout the book is just so wonderful. This book is so good, and I would really recommend to read it. They describe it as the story of two sisters, one a missionary to Africa and the other a child wife living in the South, who remain loyal to each other. And this book is just so good. There's also a movie if you don't like reading, but it's not that long of a book. It's like 300. I would definitely recommend reading this. Another one which I haven't read is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Sorry if I read that wrong, but this book is in poem. It's written all in poems, and this is a newer book. This is a YA book, so if you like reading at a younger level, I don't like saying that because I love YA books, but this one is a very popular book. It has awards, and it's about a young Black girl's coming of age story, kind of. It's her going through puberty, dealing with her father, and kind of dealing with her class and social, and she writes her thoughts through poetry, and I heard that this is a really good book, and I'm definitely getting into this. It does deal with religion. The mom forces her to obey the laws of the church, and this book kind of goes into what the daughter thinks about the church and how she lives her life as a young Black girl. So I'm going to read that book. And another book I can recommend that I haven't read is The Sun Is Also a Star. I actually used to have a book YouTube channel, and this book got really popular, and I picked it up, and I didn't want to know what it was about because I heard it's better to go into it. It's by Nicola Yoon, and it's about the story of a girl and a boy, and I know that race has something to do with this. So the girl's named Natasha, and her family is about to be deported to Jamaica, and the boy is a school, like, he's really into school, getting good grades, feels the pressure from his parents. So it's their story, and I heard this book is phenomenal. The author is Black. She also wrote the book Everything Everything, which I have right here. This was a movie, not related to this video, but I've read her books before and it was good. So this is probably the next book I'm gonna pick up, but highly recommend that. Those are the 5 books strictly related to playing a Black person in America that I have to recommend. All of these books are really fantastic reads just to get out of your mindset, to get out of your brain. Books are a great way to learn more if you read educational books, but also if you read more historical fiction books or books written about themselves. It is such a great way to be put into another person's perspective and to really understand their perspective rather than to just hear about it, because they really go into detail about their lives, their stories, and they're all so great. So I will be reading The Sun Is Also a Star next, I believe. I don't want to take away from the Black Lives Matter movement at all. I think you should 100% be going out to read books written by Black authors, books to learn more about white supremacy. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back probably sometime soon to post beauty content, but I do want to give Black creators, Black speakers the chance to speak what needs to be spoken. I don't want to cover up the voices of those who need to be heard, and I also just want to help amplify those. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any book recommendations. I'm always looking for more, and oh my gosh, as you can tell, I'm a big reader, but hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if there are any books that I mentioned today that you were going to pick up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.